Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about the 3 instincts that are a part of the science of life, the game of life. And these 3 instincts could be seen as rules, could be seen as principles, could be seen as needs that essentially we have to get met in some way. And when you know about these 3 needs, things start to become a little bit clearer as to why maybe there's some struggles in life. So these 3 needs, these 3 instincts, excuse my cat here, Simba likes to climb to the top there. Simba, get down please. Come on. Don't climb up there. Thank you. Essentially, these 3 needs can be broken down into, let's see here, I think it's 7 other needs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other needs. But if all you learn today is these 3 instincts, then they're going to help you understand certain things. Basically, we all know about the dualities here. Good and evil, creation and chaos, yeah? And these 3 instincts can basically allow for a life of harmonious joy, or these 3 instincts can cause pure depression and chaos, okay? So the reason why you would want to know about these 3 instincts today, what you're going to learn, is because you can start to figure out how to get these needs met. And essentially, you're going to be letting go of some stuff, right? You're going to be allowing your mind to take this information in and hopefully adapt to the situation that's going on for you right now a little bit easier, if possible. So, the first instinct that runs through all of us is self-preservation. Now, I just want to say and be aware as I say this that some of us have had this self-preservation thwarted beyond compensation, okay? And what this means is that when our self-preservation is thwarted beyond its own compensation, i.e. the instinct of self-preservation turns into a repressed emotion when it's not met, it stays in our body, this repressed emotion. And essentially, we start to behave in certain ways that go against this instinct until eventually this repressed emotion comes up to the surface to be released like a pressure valve. And this can come in the form of hysteria, fits of rage, crying, screaming, just whatever comes up. So if you've ever experienced these things, it may have to do with this first instinct. It may be that your self-preservation wasn't intact. And, the part that I'm trying to be very careful about with you here, because this is very delicate, is as children, we need to be protected growing up. And if we're not, there's not much we can do. Self-preservation is an instinct that we learn as we grow older. And there's certain points in life where we just cannot protect ourselves. And so it becomes a repressed emotion, this instinct. The second instinct is reproduction. And essentially this comes in many forms. This comes in the form of the love of beauty, of art. At its lowest expression, you could say it's sex, right? And this instinct for reproduction, again, kicks in as we get a bit older, but it's there. And again, if this becomes thwarted beyond its compensation, its instinctual need is not met, we start to do this thing where we create other channels for it to arise in. And these other channels that we create for the instinct of reproduction to arise can be, to put it lightly, perverted. Because the natural organic instinct of reproduction isn't necessarily met in organic and natural ways. So the ego, the mind, goes about trying to fix this, as you've got all this built up emotion, again, repressed emotion based on if this reproductive instinct isn't met. You've got all this built up stuff in there, and it's just a pressure valve is released. And if you're ever in situations where your emotion does not fit the situation, you kind of know why. It's because you got some repressed stuff in there and it needs to be released. And the unfortunate thing is it gets released in ways that are not really where the emotion is actually related. It just needs to release, and whatever's in the vicinity is going to get it, right? The third instinct is the social instinct. And in modern day society, we've created new ways to get all these three instincts met. Social media is one. For some people, it covers the need of self-preservation, i.e. making money. Because that's one part of the instinct, is making money and surviving. The other part of it is, standing up for yourself in the face of something that would make you lose face, make you degrade your character. The second can be met with something like technology. Maybe in strange ways, though, because it's not going to be, because it's through technology, right? It's not going to be the organic, natural way that reproduction is met. So again, the ego goes about finding other ways that this instinct can be met, and it can be through, things like porn as an example, right? And then you can also have the social instinct met through something like technology with social media. You can have likes, you can have people follow you, all that kind of stuff. It can be met in other ways. So you're starting to see here how the mind starts to create ways, the human starts to create ways that if it can't have the instinct met in a natural, organic way, it's going to go about meeting it in other ways. And this is a good thing to an extent, because now the instinct is being met to a degree, but it's going to pervert it a little bit. So maybe, hopefully, you're starting to understand a little bit here, just about kind of where we're at in some of us, in our experience, and how, we're not necessarily in the most natural, organic way of life. That's pretty clear, right? A lot of our needs have had to be put aside for some reason or another, and we've had to go about finding other ways to deal with it. So I'm going to give you 8 more needs, okay? And this is kind of like expanding upon these instincts. Because when it comes to our children, for example, those three instincts, they're kind of there, but they're still growing. Or when, it's not until, I guess, teenage and beyond that these instincts really kick in. They're there, but they're not necessarily learned until we get to a certain age. So let's talk about the other needs from a young age. And of course, they change over time. They're different. But, a baby, for example, just has its basic needs that need to be covered. So that's the first one, safety, right? We all want to feel safe. Again, part of the self-preservation. We all need to feel, have shelter, have food, have safety in the environment. But then, the next one is variety. As a child exploring the world, it wants to see new things. It wants to experience this tree, that flower, this person, that toy. And again, as an adult, we want to experience variety as well. And when we get to a space of stagnancy and boredom, one of the needs is calling out to be met, which is, I need some variety here. I need to go and see something different. And that is a basic human need. But sometimes what the ego can do is not be very flexible and think that it needs something the way it thinks it needs it right here, right now. So in hearing these needs, just be aware that as much as you need these things, you can be flexible about them. It's a spectrum. So, for example, sometimes if I need variety in my life, I'll just go and I'll, read a different book. If maybe it's not possible to go out or do something exciting or whatever, I find my need for variety in other small little things. And that can be a lifesaver, is to train your mind to accept its limitations as well. So it also needs validation. Needs to be seen. Instead of feeling like it doesn't exist, it needs to have validation, not just from nature, but from human beings, that you're seen, you're validated as who you are. Okay? This is closely tied in with the next need, which is significance. It needs to feel like it has a purpose of some kind. It needs to feel you need to feel significant in the world. And if you don't, breakdown starts to happen. Hysteria starts to happen. Things like that. Another need is connection with another. If this connection can't be met with other human beings, it can be met with animals, or nature, or God. The need for autonomy is quite a big one. Being able to feed yourself, shower, drive, things like that. The need for growth, to experience a sense that you're growing in some way as a person. You're better than you were yesterday. Better is subjective. It's based on your perception and your beliefs. But the goal for the soul or the ego is to essentially feel good in life. And again, it's a spectrum. So the last and final need that I'm going to mention here is contribution. This for me, outside of teaching about spiritual, mysterious kinds of things, just getting on these videos and talking, really, that's been my contribution for a while now. Just to trying to be, have things that I can be of service with. And I guess the reason I'm telling you is because, I've had some really dark periods in my life, and I would say my interest in life's mysteries has kept me going, wanting to find out more information, not wanting to necessarily like, just, I think what it is it's a forgiveness. I have a quote here from one of the books. It's a quote from The Peaceful Parenting Revolution, and it's by Jack Canfield, and he says, "Forgiveness is giving up all hopes of a better past." And yeah, and sharing these needs with you, and the complexity of the duality that we live in, you know, it can feel pretty big. And well, I think the 3 words that come to mind is forgiveness, which I just made a light language video on for patrons, so go check that out if you're a patron, and if you'd like to see that video and experience me taking you through the act of forgiveness with light language and sacred space, you can become a patron for as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive videos. And the other 2 words that come to mind is, it sounds cliche, and I know, but acceptance with the way things are, as difficult as they may be, or as great as they may be. Yeah. And the 3rd one is letting go. You won't be able to let go all day, every day. I know that. There's lots going on in the mind, and it's there as a tool for survival. It's there to help you adapt to the environment, and it comes up with lots of different ways to do that, and it can be quite complex in there. But there's other times where it just wants to let go, and it wants to meditate with the body and just observe and just be still, be in silence, you know. And I think silence is one of the best ways to meditate. You just let go. Just okay, I'm just gonna sit here and do nothing. That's one of my favorite ways to meditate. I hope that you find the ways to make life okay for you, and if you can, make it okay for other people. But I know some people struggle a lot, and all they know is to they don't know how to not spread that. But you know, there's going to come a person that you don't want to spread that pain onto, and heck, that's an accomplishment, is to break that chain of pain. And well, those are the 3 instincts for the science of life, the game of life. If you have anything you want to add to that, then let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.